is playing into customer needs. It's very, very hot trend right now. I took this picture in Poland, in Carrefour. As you walk in, you see this two baskets. We used to do it when I worked at Tesco. We used to do it in Poland. Actually, we did it as well. I remember doing that in Poland when I was looking after all pricing for Tesco there in general. We put our basket and competitor. Wouldn't say who competitor is and have that. And the price difference would be 5%, 10%, 15%. And this was already strong enough as a message. What the guys are doing now is putting brands, you can see these are all brands, versus the private label. You can see Coca-Cola, you can see private cola, yeah, private label, etc. No, many similar products, but from private label. And Carrefour is huge on private label, and Poland is big on buying private label. And so they show 45% price difference. And this is shocking. And this is a big, big message for consumers. And this is the first thing they see when they walk into the store. And so retailer is realizing, and we talked about it earlier, but this is with the picture and big proof that the private label is the time, it's their time. But this is a very big message for the customer. Basically, you go and switch from all the brands to private label, and you should be happy. And then I think there's some alcohol, but I don't see it off the top of my head because I wasn't tossing products in a basket. I just took a picture. But yeah, I think there's a beer right here, right here. This is a beer. Yeah, if I see it correctly. But anyway, maybe it's energy drink. Let's move to other things in private label. So consumers are responding to that. And we saw a Nielsen presentation, that information to some extent. US private label is growing faster than national brands. It's a proven fact right this year. Dollar volume for store brands increased by 10.3% from January through March this year, compared to 5.6% for national brands. That includes food and non-food. So private label is growing faster, twice as fast as the brands right now in America. Store brands also captured more of the market, which is natural. If you grow faster, you're probably capturing more of the market, unless your market is growing a lot. So dollar share in the category rose to 19.1%, compared to 18.5% in the first quarter of last year. And unit share, because private label was normally cheaper than brands, is even higher. So close to 21%. In this example. So private label is growing in absolute, in turnover, in market share, and in units share. Example of X5 shows fascinating picture. I included that. I couldn't not include it. From 2020 to 23, private label, well, 23 is projection, but 22, okay, good enough. In turnover, for Pятерочка, the largest format, the proximity stores of X5, and I'll talk more about their formats later on, was 19% in 2020, up to 27, expect to be up to 27% this year. And I know they'll get there. It's not, they're already on target if you see their reports. Growth of private label for Перекресток, it's their supermarket format, second largest format for them. It was even scarier. 13 went up to 18, and now they're expecting it up to 26. Ready to eat is also growing a lot. This is a separate subject which can be addressed extensively if we have questions, but I'll mention a couple things here why I showed it. Because with COVID and with changes in behavior of customers, they started going to restaurants less, but they're buying more ready to eat from stores. And so ready to eat, which is also private label for these guys, is growing very quickly. It's like doubling in 2 years, almost doubling. Anyway, so we see what's happening with private label. An example of America, an example of Russia, and other countries will be very similar picture. Why do consumers buy private label? And you probably know the answers, but we have to talk about it because they're also intending to continue to buy it and increase it. So let's understand the story. They buy it for price and quality reasons, and they intend to increase the purchase. You can see that 96% of consumers globally buy store brand groceries. Nearly a quarter of Americans say that they always buy store brand groceries or private label, with an additional 73% who say they consider it depending on price and availability. In comparison, 27% of shoppers globally indicated that they always buy store brand groceries. So 96% buy them and 27% always buy them. And the study was in 2022. It's not even 23, which is even stronger now. And it studied consumers in US, France, UK, Germany, and Australia. Salsify was conducting it. In the US, the top two reasons for buying store brand groceries were two reasons: lower price, 58% said that, and the belief, very important for me now, that the store brand's product quality was equal to the branded option. So more than half of consumers think store brand is no worse than brand. So globally, actually, lower price also was the top factor for choosing the store brand, same reason. However, in places like Great Britain, Germany, and Australia, shoppers were slightly more likely to choose store brands because they like the product itself. So this is even bigger development. They don't just say it's the same quality, they say it's better than the brand. Well, for them. And Euromonitor survey said that 22% of Europeans plan to increase their purchase of private label this year. And this is 5 percentage points increase from last year. So we see the trend, and we cannot not talk about it. And it's happening you see it happening in Russia, it's happening in America, it's happening in different countries in Europe and Australia, and I'm sure it's happening in your countries if private label is being developed by retailers. For US, consumers also plan to increase the private label purchase this year. You don't have to read the full table, but the top thing, they asked consumers in February 2023, they polled over 2,000 people. Circana did this survey, and you see that 79% of them during the next 6 months plan to buy more value brands. Value brands is private label in the US, one of the ways to call it. And then others, some of them increase name brands, but the most important is the top line, and that's why I included this slide in here to show that they're planning to increase them in Europe and increase them in America.